Hey, good morning and good evening. It's Michael, and I always say my sidekick, Texas Jake. I'm on here today. Wanted to mention this. I think I would be remiss not to say this, but with conversations like hypergamy and red pill and finding a Filipina, you better keep her. If you find one. Um, Here's what I'm noticing, and this is via, just watching YouTubes and listening to others, as well as having my own experience with it. Uh, that there's a lot of jiggling going on. Your advertisement is Western backdrop music that talks about, sexual. I'm embarrassed that our country has, allowed music like that, this rapping stuff that talks about stuff like that, and that folks from other countries think that that's attractive, to be, luring somebody in with those types of lyrics as well as you're gyrating your body. Being somebody that's had a business before and more than one and working with more affluent people and educated people, that's not the type of advertising you'd want to do, unless you're trying to get somebody just for that as well. And I know that that's very common there, and there's a lot of older guys my age that are thinking, gosh, if I can go to your country and get all that and have that in plentiful amounts, that's the attraction, that's the lure. Instead of the lure is that if you really want to make your dreams come true and not just be used for, a time or for a vacation, novelty, if you're really looking for a husband, a good one, a faithful man that wants to be with you and at your side, you really have to lay out some, well thought out plans. I think that that's the reason why my brother and his now current wife were successful. She's from another country. However, I think for a very long time of her life that she was making plans to, in fact, do that. She wanted to come to America and have a life here and whatever. So all that was kind of like on the table and laid out. There was no, production of, transferring of monies and back and forth and all that stuff. Um, Unfortunately, though, what's happening is that guys like myself that don't know too much about a particular country or didn't at the time when I first got introduced to why there's better wife material there or it's better, the lure was enough to get me started, and then I got pulled into something that I didn't know much about and then found out the hard way, unfortunately. But I want to do a favor to the people that are doing that by saying this is that is an attraction to a man. It's his weakness. If he is a man, he's going to be weak by somebody gyrating or wiggling their body. However, it's not the main attraction. The attraction is you want somebody good hearted, honest, and that somebody has got enough up here and in here that they lay out their life plan enough to where even if they don't have the money, to at least be on one end of the world or the other end of the world, laying out their life. What do they want? How are they going to do it? What do they got to do on that end to get it done? And then the man somehow, if he is going to be the hero and get them to come here, and if the funds that they just don't have that, they have to have the plan laid out. That is what you should sell. That's whether you don't have anything, you know. But if you're going to not have anything and your only contribution is that you can cook and clean and have sex and make babies, that might be an attraction, but it's less of one because a lot of guys today are, especially my age, are not thinking about starting a family at this time of their life. They want to enjoy what's left of it, and it's a flattery to somebody that they would have somebody that was younger and more spirited and keeping that youthful feeling, in their house, or in their life, But I think you have to lay it out. What is your plan? Not just that's your plan, that I'm going to lure the guy with the dance and then get him to like me enough to start funding something that is maybe not even realistic. Because what a lot of Western men may not realize, and some do and some don't, or they're naive to it, is that the exchange rate is very high. So $100 is really $4,900. So to send somebody that kind of money, and then all they're doing it is just divvying that up or taking care of their needs while they're at the house or in their home, or if they have children, whatever, that is what those funds are used for. The person on the other end isn't getting what he's thinking he's getting. He's just sending money out. See, and then the lure becomes less attractive because it's not being used as it was intended to be used. It's being used for other reasons. And I think that sometimes, and it's maybe very natural for somebody that doesn't see that on a regular, and some may, they might have a lot of suitors that are sending that kind of money to them, and those monies are not being used appropriately or with the intent to really actually relocate to the United States or wherever else that they might have intentions of going, depending on what kind of man they're looking for. So I feel that sometimes it would be a little remiss for me not to explain to you that if you really want to make your fantasy or whatever it is a reality, as we do want to make ours one, we just want to have what we're paying for and not have it just being just frivolously spent for other reasons. Now, if you're that close to your family and you just feel that I've got this in my hand right now today, and so this is needed today, or I want to eat this today or have this today, I'll forego that, whatever I'm going to do with this person, and just keep that enticing, conversation, or through emojis or whatever, keep that going for a time, and then just build up a nice big stack, and then just run off into the sunset with it, leaving that other person behind. Now, the men aren't so much heartsick about that because there's plenty of fish in the sea, as it said. What they're heartsick about is that, a man, a woman, anybody, when you go to a market, and whether it's one for a female, for a wife, you want to know that what you're getting is what you're getting for your money. Not you're going to get something that's totally, opposite of what you are spending your money on. And then also, if you're intent to come to the United States and then make your stack here, but then send it all back home, I think a lot of that stuff has to just be said and spelled out. And I think that what you speak in English, if you don't understand that is, a good guy just wants a partner, a mate. He doesn't want all that baloney and all that, gyrating and all that dancing. But if he does, he wants that to be exclusively his. The men that would allow a woman to do that for part-time work, or because she has a following on whether it's Facebook or TikTok or whatever, I think that guy is, I don't know. I mean, this is my opinion. I just wouldn't want my wife or girlfriend or anyone that I'm sending anything to be doing that because it is a way of making money. It's like it's like putting your wife or your girlfriend, she's prostituting and just, creating a following. And maybe, that whoever is the wiggliest or the cutest or has the nicest figure or the youngest has the greatest following, and that's how you measure each other's worth. But it's not just me. I'm not solely saying this is my male opinion, is that I think that a lot of you are just you're cutting a line short. You're tripping over nickels tripping over dollars to get to nickels. You're not going to get what you want out of that, and whether it's short term or long term. And it really is polluting an opportunity for others that really do seriously want to come here to the United States. Now, and for the men that are going there, with this hypergamous nature of the female, you're going to be constantly bombarded with others that are going to say, I got it better. I can make that rice better than she can, or I can give you a baby better than she can, or I can do it better than she can. And so there's going to be a constant temptation there. Constant. You know, communication is key to your success, to my success. I have honestly and earnestly put out my heart, my feelings, my time, my emotions, my telling personal things that I probably regret even mentioning about myself to others who have had ill intent or have had other boyfriends while doing that with me. So it's a proven fact then that knowing that now is that it's a very hypergamous by nature situation here. You know, I was being flirted with and talked to by somebody that had a fiance who may have been sending money. I don't know. And that made him the better of the two. But see, none of that was discussed with me. You know, that's just behind your back kind of stuff. So that's where I'm, you know, I'm a lot disappointed because I went there with the intent, you know, to these sites to find what I was lured to believe was there. Not saying that it isn't there, but to fish through all of that to get to the one, it's like searching for treasure, you know, and a man wants his treasure. He wants his wife to himself and for himself and by himself and to be rock solid all the time and all the way, you know. And so that you have to be a better communicator. This dancing around and skipping about, you know, picking your tongue out, you know, because it's sexy, and it is, but it's not what you want in a man. If that's all he wants from you, besides cooking rice and fixing his meals, I think you're going to get very bored very quickly. You know, you want to talk about your hobbies, about your interests, about how you really want to come somewhere else and how you're going to do it. And if it's through hook or crook, or you're just going to hurt people to do that, and think you're not spoiling it for somebody that really is sincere, I've mentioned continually that I think that you are, because there's stereotypes that are created from people doing those types of things, whether it's here, there, anywhere. When you're around somebody that is creating that kind of separation, you know, from customer or buyer and seller, you know, it becomes like a used car lot. And which one is more shiny or pretty is not always the best one. You want something that's solid and it's, you know, you want the best value for your buck. So concentrating on the expense, have a little jar in your home, whether you put a peso or a centavo in there once a day to save for whatever it's going to take, whether it be immunizations, medical, paperwork that has to be, you know, done, you know, in advance. You should be prepared to make whatever it is that you're going to have or want to come to you know, completion, you know, by mapping it all out. Don't be depending on somebody that is so far away and foreign to your you know, policies and procedures and costs, and expect them to just come up with all of that. And then in addition to that, that you're really have these heartstrings that are so deeply rooted to your family that they're also going to be expected to continue that source of money going towards your family that's left behind. Whether you have children or don't have children, you know, there's policies and rules. You should really be upfront with the person, lay it on the table, tell them what you want, what it's going to take. What are you doing on that end to do it? Besides sticking your tongue out and dancing around like, you know, if you find a Phiapina and sticking your behind up in the air. I'm telling you, even in the United States, there's very stiff competition. There's women with bachelor's, master's degrees, CEOs of companies that are having difficult times finding a good man. You know, they're equal or even somebody that's even lower than, you know, it's just becoming more difficult of a process. And you're making it more difficult by, the lures are wonderful, but they're not always in the best of taste. And then when you do find somebody that is interested, you have to level with them 100%. what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And not just a handout for today, if that's the attitude. Save the day right now because I want to fill my house full of foods and this and this and this, and I want a new pocketbook or a new record or whatever so I can dance to it to lure others in. I think that's a little ridiculous that you would be even thinking that that's okay. There's more to it than you may think. It might be that way where you're at. It's not that way here. They have places for that where you go and watch girls sticking their tongues out and wiggling their behinds. And then guys that don't want that stay far away from it. However, you're seeing a very large percentage of the women in the country that I was focused on doing that, and it's just becoming more and more popular. Now, if you don't have work and that's all you know how to do to make work, you better level with the person that you're getting with too also, and saying, I've had to do that to put food on the table. So he knows what he's getting if he's going to take on that responsibility or to take you under his roof. I don't want to find out later on that any woman that I would have had to do that or does do that or will do that again if she finds, that the cupboards are bare. So the purpose of my talk today, or my sharing my feelings with you, is that line up your objective. Know what you got to do. Know what you want to do. I know what I want to do. I don't know how to obtain it. And just by finding somebody that lures me in with their tongue sticking out or their butts hiked up in the air, and then all I get out of that is I'm just forwarding money to them that I don't know how it's being spent, or the objective truly isn't to come here to be with me. It's just they're doing that with a multiple amount of people at a 49 to 1 exchange rate. They're getting rich. And we're empty. We don't have what we thought we were buying or getting. And then to go there for these little play dates or whatever for a weekend vacation, I'm not too sure about, other than what I've heard rumored on YouTube, because they don't talk to us about it on the news so much because not everyone's going that way. But it's going to be some time before, things get better, if they get better at all. So really, if your objective is to come to the United States, you want to be here, you want to find a good man, you better be willing to take not only good care of him in this way or that way or this way, and him you got to be a little bit more businesslike and serious about it, instead of all this dancing around and think it's just a little giggle party, because the guys that you do take advantage of or hurt or drain financially, or they're just sending this allowance continually to you and it's not being handled well or spent wisely, or it's not with the real intent to come here, all you're doing is creating a stereotype. And people, maybe I'm the only one on here talking about it, about what's being done or how it's being done. I'm willing to say this or do this publicly. Some people aren't, but they are telling other people. So, to go out in the streets and just ask people, has it ever happened? Do you know of anyone that's ever happened to? Have they ever been swindled or lied to or cheated out of something that they were trying to get from somebody that's from another country? Hopefully they have more positive stories than negative, but I have already, talked to some, and it hasn't been as positive. It's been very negative. And my whole thing is how do you get from the good ones to the bad ones? How do you know the ones that are really telling the truth versus the ones that aren't? That happens here too in our country, but it's not as expensive. Okay, now I'm going to say that again. It's not as expensive. So, but the amounts of money that it would take to get you here, because I'm very familiar with what my brother and his now bride had to spend to get her here. That's not cheap. And that's not something you can just throw around this one, then this one, then this one. And if that's how you're going to find a Filipina, then you better be more than a millionaire, because they're just going to, you're going to be depleted, and that's not the real intent. It might be on your end, but it isn't on ours. So the good, genuine men that want to find a good wife, they want to find it with somebody that has a plan. They know what they're doing, and I don't mean steal from you or to take from you, but they know I got to go to this agency and that agency. I have to have this paperwork done and that paperwork done, and I have to do this. And they're almost in wait to come here. Now, if you don't have that kind of money, you should at least know what it costs and then tell somebody that you're dealing with on this end what it's going to cost to get you there. And then they would most likely, unless they're just foolish, find a way that that could be handled through some agency or something so that they're not going to lose their money and they're going to get what they're paying for. And that's with anything. I don't care if you're buying a product or a widget online. We're not buying brides or women, and you want to have a good rapport and relationship with somebody, but you don't want to give your wife, not here or there, money that she's not spending the way you would think she should be spending it. And especially if the intent is to have it spent for your coming to him. So what am I saying? Don't let your country turn into the only lure that's there. It's just like a brothel of sorts, you know. I know it's hard in life, but you shouldn't hurt others to get ahead. Not ever. Not ever. You got to find a better way, and that is my purpose of talking to you today about that. So always be a conscious thinker about hypergamy, red pill, what they're doing in the world. Men are just, they're turning away from that. And I just seem to feel that the volume of that has been elevated on your end. You're luring guys through the... And we see it almost like it's a clown. And I used to do that, you know, by the way, professionally. I went to school to do it. I also went to school for marketing, economics, and whatever. And this is not going to be something that's going to benefit you or anybody else long term if you keep doing that. The ones that are scamming, the ones that are with boyfriends already, you concentrate on that 150% until you get what you want. But you don't, while you're doing that, go find another one and then play with their heart, with their mind, with their finances, only to get what you want. If that is what you want, you're hurting other people by doing so, even yourself, without maybe being conscious of that. So, again, be good to your neighbor. Talk. Be a better communicator. Don't try to lure a man into your heart or to get into his pocket through dancing only and your tongue extended. You know, I see things on TikTok and other places, and it seems like that seems to be the popular thing to do. And the more likes and loves and emojis that you get, that seems to give you bragging rights. Here's the bragging right that you would want to show or tell everybody, that you got to meet an American man, and you're in this country and doing well and living happy ever after. If you're into the fairy tales and the happily ever after, do right by the person that's on the other end, that's trying to win your heart and to help you and to become part of you and your family. One flesh concept. Don't be beating up the guys that are really sincere and genuine with all that other stuff. You're just hurting everybody. And this isn't the time with this planet, the way things are going in the world, to be doing stuff like that. That's just my opinion, but I think it's good advice, and I'm hoping to see more success stories and not less of them. And not only on this end, on your end. We need to come together, people. We need to figure out a way. If you really want to come to the United States, it's not all tinsels and everything every day is perfect here. It's different, just like it is there. You know, there's good and bad everywhere you go. And I don't think that people have the time or the resources anymore to be having to go through the gauntlet, which would mean a maze, a gauntlet, whatever of lying, cheating people that really do not want to really come here. They just want the money, you know. and it's a very lazy concept, and it's reckless, and it's going to affect people long term. And I would rather see everyone that wants to come here. But find a guy, stick with one, stick with the guy, stick with a plan. My brother's success is not just luck. It's because he happened to find, now that might have been lucky, that he found somebody that had that same motive. And I would like to see and feel that everyone else has that same motive without thinking that I'll just get what I need today, and then when I get it, I can divvy that up to the family or use it for other things. Be honest and upfront with somebody always. Be good to your neighbor. Say something nice. Do something nice. I'm not on here trying to be the bad guy. I am a victim to that kind of reckless behavior more than once. So I'm not on here only because I'm soured and I don't know. I'm just trying to help you. And I want to help myself too, in hopes that I would find somebody that's genuine and they could just lay it out. And I don't mean lay it out and then just present the bill like, okay, here you go. You got that kind of money. All right, see you in a week or a month. No, I want to see what I haven't seen so far. And we all have these fairy tales of what we want out of life, and I'm sure that if I were there, I would have a whole lot of fun. But I'm not just. What's the rest of my life? The fun that I want to have isn't just only that. So you gotta do more and better than that. Come to the table with a plan, and I assure you, I almost guarantee it, that if you have the plan, find the right person, you're gonna succeed. Think about that. That's all I'm asking. Think about it. Don't be playing these games with people, because it's not fair. And that's Michael, and I want to say have a good one, and let's work together on this instead of quarreling with each other. And I would rather be on here talking about how and exactly what needs to be done. I don't know what agencies there you need to go to line those things up, the cost, how me and that other person are going to try to work that out together, how far they are in life. Are they coming here with an education, or are they just going to be somebody that knows how to do laundry in a river? Because that's going to look odd, So let's be better, better friends, communicate better, try harder, and don't do it just only that way. Because a guy will be more impressed, a good one, when he sees that you have other qualities, and especially if he sees that you have a good heart and the best of intentions. You're going to get what you're looking for, and not all the bad things, all the good ones. Michael again, signing off. You guys have a good one. Thanks.